these meetings. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special impromptu interview that was supposed to happen next week. But, we try to make our guests as comfortable as possible. So we're having DJ Shane tonight instead of the 6th. So welcome to the show. And Nathan, take it away.
Thank you very much. Welcome, DJ Shane. How are you tonight?
Oh, great. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry, it's last minute. My schedule's all over the place.
That's fine. We all have busy schedules, so that's completely understandable.
Yeah. If you're a DJ and you got 3 other jobs, then you probably understand. Crazy.
So let's talk about some of the stuff that you gained from being either a DJ or being a DJ for the Special Olympics, or maybe both.
I can tell you my life story. If that's what you want. Want me to just tell you how I got started, and we'll go from there.
Sure.
Okay. Well, been thinking about this all day, or when I got the alert. Anyway, sit back, buckle your seatbelt. Here we go. I hosted a house party back in the day. Not sure what year. I was still living with my mom, in her house, and I got permission to host a Halloween party. And I really didn't have much, just graduated high school, got a job, but I'm able to pay for stuff. But I wanted to host this Halloween party. My mom said yes, being her house. I still had to ask permission. Hosting the Halloween party, send out the invites. Went to a place called Guitar Center. I've never been there before at all. Never been there. And so I went in there with about $100. I walked out minus the $100, and I bought my first DJ light that no longer exists. It broke, and used the DJ light at my party. It was a hit, and I also played some music. Didn't really have much. After that, I had just kind of really didn't do much until I moved out, got my own apartment. I got the opportunity to go down to Los Angeles to visit my family down there at the time. And my grandmother pretty much gave me a check. I'm not going to say the amount, but she gave me a really nice check. And she didn't hand it to me until I was going to fly back. Didn't know what was in there. And she says, open this when you get home. And so I did. And it was a nice check. And it said, do something nice with it. So at the time, I was kind of venturing my life, seeing how my life was going to go. And I went back to Guitar Center and bought a couple things. But then I got a job at a nightclub on Capitol Hill area in downtown Seattle with my 2 best friends. I liked the dance music scene, didn't know what I was getting into, and eventually got hired at the same club working security. And so I was hanging out with the DJs. I was so curious of what equipment they were using: headphones, turntables, mixers, laptops. And I still haven't touched the funds that my grandmother gave me. So one day I went and bought the software that the DJs were using, and it kind of started there. Probably 99, 2000 ish. I dropped several paychecks at Guitar Center. I probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars since then. Yeah, that's kind of like the long answer on how I started. I just kind of like bought crappy gear, sold the crappy gear for nice gear, and I still have all that gear that works today.
Very cool. How'd you get started with the Special Olympics?
Great question. As I grew as a DJ, my friends recommended me because I was still doing just house parties and I didn't really know a whole lot about the DJ scene. And I got a job doing Saturday night dance parties at the sports bar that is no longer. It was across the street from where I'm living currently, in Shoreline. And I was just doing it. And one of my friends that I've known, his name's Joe Hampton, longtime friend, good buddy. He's almost, I could probably call him a brother. Um, we've done some crazy stuff that I can't say on camera, fortunately. He'd kill me. He just happened to find out that I was DJing and came to my spot of residence, and he gave me an offer. And he said it's going to take some time to work things out his end, and so he gave me that phone call, and I just about lost it during the phone call. I could not believe the offer that he gave me, and the offer was they want me to be their resident DJ. The only stipulation is I can't bill them. My services will be for free, and they take care of me at the other end. And so I said yes. How can I say no to that? You know, instead of like, hey, okay, by the way, if you want me in a certain place, it's $1,000. I'm like, no, it's not going to work. That that probably wouldn't be $1,000, but instead of me billing them, they're just going to take care of everything, and that's the agreement. It's kind of like a volunteer thing. Yes, I'm working, but it's mostly a volunteer thing. 99%. I did get paid for one event last summer, but that was with the agreements in place that I had to, fulfill. So,
And for the fans out there, I've been to one of the Special Olympics dances where DJ Shane DJs, and it's one party, I'll tell you that.
yes, yeah.
So we know what you do as far as DJ, but what are some of the other stuff that you gain by working with the Special Olympics?
The experiences that I give out, as the only Special Olympic Washington DJ, I try not to make it about myself. Yeah, okay, I'm up there on stage and there's lights flashing. Well, try not to flash too bright. I'm on stage, everyone loves me. I do not make it about me. It is not about me. It is about them. I've done lots of other things during the COVID area time to make it just kind of like sit back, making sure that Special Olympic athletes are okay. So with your producer Tony's help, we kind of started this thing that just kept on going. And I knew at the end, of the day that there was probably going to be an end to it, but we helped kids with confidence during COVID. We provided little weird games in chat rooms, and it was a lot of fun. We did like a scavenger hunt. That was very, very popular. Then that COVID, like that whole thing turned into this thing called Soa Regio, and that was a blast. And I'm pretty much pleased to announce, if I can, if we haven't announced it already on one of your shows, formally, yes, Soa Regio is coming back. It's a one night only, and it's going to be in March. In March, I think we released the date. But I can't wait, and I hope your audience tunes in. It's going to be a fun night if technology works. It's going to be a fun night.
I believe that date's May 19th.
Yes, thank you. I don't have my calendar book in front of me. Yeah.
So tell us about maybe some of the other stuff that you've DJ'd for. I know you've done some sports events and
Yeah, well, I've done lots of different events. Um with my small little group of DJs that I know with friends, and just getting to know people. It's I just call it opportunity for myself. As people tell you that everyone learns and grows, right? You have to learn and grow. And so, kind of going back to the other story about how I started, I met some really great DJs that have mentored me, and I sprouted my little seed, and I got bigger with their help. Um, I I piggybacked on their gigs by showing up and just being their support. And when they run to the bathroom, I'm in control. I might be playing two songs where they, do their business or get a drink or so, or just need a break and go outside because it's so loud. I take over. And that to me is confidence. So I've done sports bars. They're fun. Then I kind of sprouted. I've DJed at Husky Stadium in Seattle, Washington, for a very, very large USA Games event. That was awesome. I that in that time I was asked to DJ or open DJ for DJ White Shadow. He is a huge name, huge, bigger than me, way bigger than me, which is okay. I will accept that. And we didn't become friends, but we met, swapped stories, so we understand each other. And I kind of going back to the other thing that it's not about us; it's about the athletes on the field or the dance floor who are having the most fun. We're just providing the music. Um, I've done other things here and there, weddings, Halloween parties for special kids, just to name a few. Um, that's my long answer. Sorry, I've got long answers because I'm pretty proud of my accomplishments. Again, it's not about me, it's about the people that are on my dance floor. I'm just the guy pushing buttons and providing music.
and there's nothing wrong with long answers if you're proud of something. And believe me, as Tony can attest, I'm the king of those. So
Yeah. Well, I've also watched a lot of your interviews just to kind of prep for this one, and I think I'm doing all right so far, and you're doing great.
well,
Yeah,
thank you.
give you some credit.
Quit filling his egoish head.
Which one? What are you talking to, DJ Shane or me?
I
You're
think it
the
might be. Go
you
ahead.
are the never mind. Yeah, you have the egoish head, and our guest is being very very knowledgeable, and you have to cut him off.
I'm
So
not
shame on
cutting him
you,
off.
host. just ask your questions and get back to the interview.
He's going back to playing a heel again.
Wow, you were told.
Uh, so you said you did some weddings.
Yes.
You ever had like some guy that or person that thinks they can sing and wants to do like some weird like Adam Sandler type like wedding song at the
Not yet. Not yet. Though I did book a wedding this summer at the end of June without after all the craziness happens at spring games for Special Olympics Washington. Um yeah, I've not had a wedding singer yet perform on any of my sets or before or after. So that's to be continued. That's a funny question actually. It's a good question.
so what what goes into like picking a set, you know, because it's not for those who are out there. It's not like you can just like turn on the thing. And, there's some planning that goes into setting these things up.
Yes. There's a lot that goes into it, especially like I'm going to start with weddings. I'm Weddings are like special. You want to make their day, so they will give you a playlist, 100 songs, 200 songs for like let's say 2 hours or so. There's no way I'm gonna be able to play 200 songs in 2 hours or so, but so they break it up into like the main dance floor session, like the main reception of their wedding. But then there's cocktail hour. They may want different kinds of music. Um, or even like their walk down the bride walking down the aisle. They might want a special tune like a Whitney Houston tune or just what their music. And so you are their DJ. So if they don't want a song, let's say that like if they don't want like the Macarena played, they're not getting the Macarena played. It's their playlist. It's not me, where I can't just go freestyle and play whatever I want. Um, I can do that, but I have to build kind of like a secondary playlist with their playlist and still following by their rules. That's just said with weddings, but other gigs, um, kind of reference to I get to ask or sorry, edit that one, I guess. Um, every year I get asked to DJ a event in Seattle called the Polar Plunge. It's a Seattle Special Olympic Washington event. Usually happens in March, February or March because it's the coldest months of the year in Seattle. I don't know who would want to jump in the water in Elliott Bay in Seattle. I'm got asked to do it next year. For those gigs, they like dance music, so I play dance music, and they give me a set time. Usually it's hour, 2 hours, so I'm cramming to just build the best playlist I can with the 2 hours that I have. And last year's set was amazing. I've even put it on SoundCloud, and maybe we could post the link. I can probably send it to you and post the link for the interview. But yeah, SoundCloud is where I put most of my special stuff that I've done, remixes. I technically don't really do a whole lot of remixing during shows, but in my downtime, I do kind of produce stuff, and that's my hour set is it's on there and it's gaining a lot of popularity. So there's your long answer on that one.
Very cool. You said you got to do Husky Stadium for the
Yes.
Special Olympics. Is there ever like a dream venue that or a dream event that you were
Oh
like, man, if I could do that, that would be like the top of my list?
yes. The gorge in Eastern Washington. I would love just to play. Doesn't matter what day, time, nighttime, daytime. I think the Gorge would be awesome. Just to fight a couple thousand of your friends and just, yeah, the Gorge. That would be, that's a fun question. I've been asked that question before and I just give out a sight, but I think ultimately the Gorge in George Washington. Yeah, that would be awesome. I've seen a lot of great concerts out there, and being in the middle of nowhere, you can be as loud as you want.
Well,
Yeah.
and just the atmosphere alone. I mean,
Yes. Yes. I was fortunately to see a couple really good bands out there. Metallica to be. I actually saw them twice out there. And, oh my god. Yeah, that was a great show.
that would be a hell of
My
a
ears are
concert
still
out
ringing.
there.
Yeah, my ears are still ringing for that one. It's loud. So yeah, that's a good question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Um, so we talk about wrestling a lot. I know you said you don't follow a lot of the current day wrestling, but you said you followed like the Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that.
Occasionally, I do watch. I do have my favorites. Um, I think right now, well, it, yeah, I like my old school favorites when I used to watch it back in the like late '90s, early 2000s. I liked the like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Undertaker, just to name a few. Um, I wonder if they were still on the wrestling stage today. I wonder what the dynamic would be. I do like it when they bring back sometimes the legends, just for like a little spoof or something. You know, like the Undertaker's WrestleMania ring. You know, that was always fun to try to keep track of.
Yeah.
You know.
Um, I know recently we got to do an interview with the Rock's family member. It was one of the Wild Samoans' son-in-laws. Uh,
I saw that
and
interview. That's probably one of your best interviews yet, I think. I've seen.
I would have to agree with that. And so you said, like you said, bringing him back would be awesome, and I think it would. But it was interesting to hear how like the hierarchy of their family goes. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
person that we see on TV that calls himself the tribal chief really isn't as far as the family dynamic goes.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was a good interview for you. I have to say applaud. Yeah,
And
gotta applaud you
I'm
on that.
sure you scored some points with the executive producer by saying the Undertaker.
Yeah, yeah. I was submitting a few questions. And again, I do I'm apologizing a lot this evening, but um the usually you go live on Facebook and people submit questions, but you're doing great. And technology at my end is kind of not updated, so I apologize again. So
Well, nowadays you just got to roll with what technology can do. Because
yeah.
as people know on this podcast, I live in a nursing home, which is a very old building,
Hmm.
and so I deal with that on a daily basis. Tony, do you have any questions? I noticed you took yourself off of mute, so I want to give you a chance to say something if you.
Uh-oh.
No questions at this.
Awkward dead air pause. Dead air is a DJ's worst fear.
No questions for this time for this guest.
Oh, come on. You gotta have a question.
However, Nathan, you're doing a stellar job tonight, but you could always do better.
I know I could,
Ooh.
but see, I'm my own worst critic. So, like, literally, I'll get off a podcast and be
Come
like,
on, we're
but I'll get off a podcast and be like, Man, I should ask that question. So I'm sure you do that sometimes. I would assume, when you're doing the DJ, right? Like, is there times where like maybe you go home and you're like, that was awesome, but you know,
Yeah, all the time. Um, depending where I played, who I played for, private party or public party, or a bar gig, which I don't really do too much anymore, which is fine by me. Um, yeah, there's always a song that I either forgot to play, didn't want to play, but at the end of the day, I realized, oh, maybe I should have played it. Oops. But, again, that's how we always go by the rule of life is you live and learn, you know. Um, with a lot of my gigs that I've been a part of, um, sometimes I'm able to tune into the uh what if lessons learned portion of the program, that the athletes will never see. Um, I'm always trying, even if it's not if it's about me or not, it's I'm always learning and stuff about, well, how can I do my show better? It's always trying. Again, it's not about me, it's about the athletes. How can I do it better? You know, so
well, again, like you said, that's the only way you can get better. Say, how can I get better, and then growing from there.
yeah. I mean, I've I've done some shows that I'm like, I'm just not focused. I'm just here. You know, maybe I made some poor choices the night before and paid for it the day. But um, at the end of the day, I'm proud of all my accomplishments. I think in life, where if the higher whatever decides to kill me tonight, then that's just what happens. I'm hoping not to. I'm hoping to wake up tomorrow morning and survive another day. But I there's rules of life that I have, and just living life to the fullest to my ability is just it's job number one for me. I think DJ related, life related. You know, if I could just say that.
Yeah, I have those same type of rules. And like mine is life's too short to worry about like the small stuff.
Oh, definitely, definitely, yeah. Tony, man, you gotta have at least one question for me.
So while he's thinking of that one, um, did you play any sports growing up?
I did a little bit. I played basketball with a local youth group for a while. Didn't play any high school sports. Um, I got asked to play on the local Special Olympics Washington or Special Olympic teams through the Edmonds School District. So I did that for a few years in school. And all these injuries kept coming, and so I kind of stepped down. But after I graduated, I was asked to become a coach for the same program. So I was coaching for a few years because I'm just full of problems and injuries and um yeah. So then I on the side I love to mountain bike. I used to rock climb indoors. Um if you want to call paintball a sport, I used to play that too. But again, injuries, I'm not saying poor Shane, but injuries have gotten to me where I can't really do that stuff anymore. And the price of paintballs have gone up dramatically. And Just have to put it to the side, but yeah, sports are sports, they come and go.
So, Tony, as our guest requested, do you have any questions for him?
Well, I guess I'll just go with the simple generic question.
Are they like yes or no questions?
No.
Like a rapid fire thing or something?
Ooh,
It's going to be a two-part question.
two-part question. Okay. Did you Google this answer question?
No, but I prepared it special just for you.
Okay, bring it. What you got?
So, what was your favorite DJing gig? And what was your worst DJing gig? See, two-part question.
Oh, what was the best DJ gig? What was the worst one? Well, let's start with the worst one. I hope they don't see this show because I might mention names, but or maybe not. I got a show or a private gig handed to me. And I gracefully took it because of who my friend was. I'll just call him my friend. So he's still a good friend. He's DJing my wedding in September. And so I had to be nice. But again, he will probably never see this, but boy, maybe he will see this. Anyway, I did a show nearby and it was okay, but just showing up the day before to set up my stuff because my schedule didn't really go so well. It was text message only, no phone calls. And I'm like, what am I getting myself into? So it kind of worked out. They showed up. I got my stuff in. Said, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow came. And I was all ready to go with their requests. And a lot of things just didn't happen. And I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore with these people. I will just kind of end it there. To go to the happier question, my funnest gig, I think it was. Well, okay, I'm gonna throw a bone at you. Yeah, there's a two-part answer to that one. My funnest gig was Husky Stadium opening up for DJ White Shadow for Special Olympics Special Olympics USA Games, which was held in Seattle about 5-6 years ago. That was probably the biggest, powerfulest show that I've ever done. I've redigged my playlist several times, including the day of and the night before. And I usually don't do that. Husky Stadium with DJ White Shadow, and I would have to say, the first time I ever booked a show with Special Olympics Washington, it was for the Spring Games, which is now held at Pacific Lutheran in Tacoma. Previous years, they've always had it at Fort Lewis. So the first night I played for them, it was standing room only. The place was packed where people were not even able to get in. And if the fire marshal was there, he probably would have shut us down. It was packed. Where certain people, like my friends, they were just not able to just really walk. It was packed. It was, yeah, it was crazy, and it was loud, crazy, and I didn't really have a whole lot to go off of. I just showed up with my turntables and started playing music, and it was fun. It was a really fun night, and because of that one show, I've met a very special lady in my life, and um, we're we're getting married in September. So I becoming well, didn't really want to include this, but Tony will probably have some comments with this one, but becoming the Special Olympics Washington DJ, and I'm like honorary staff. There's rules that come with it, and my rule was be careful, don't date athletes, and this very special lady messaged me, and I ignored her for a few years, or well, not a few years, but for a while, and I finally just gave in and followed my heart. Got permission from a few people, and they just said go for it, and it's been great ever since. And I hope you get her on for an interview soon. Um, she will be a delight, and she'll probably be a really good show for you.
I have no doubt about that, and we can work on making that happen.
Yeah, yeah. If you
You know,
want some
yeah,
involvement, good.
yeah. And your very special lady, tells me every day, because she actually lives down here, that she regrets sometimes introducing the two of us, because it's
Yeah,
like when Shane and I first met, it was like a match, yeah, a long lost brother that I never had, and
yeah.
even to this day, you know, I've done when I went and did my weight loss surgery, he was the first one that let me actually go on and tell my story. And, so for me, this is like a full circle moment for Shane to come out and tell his story. So again, we appreciate this tremendously. Okay, back to you, Nate. Back to your question.
If I could
Oh,
interject or put in a comment with that one, I'm
yeah.
still waiting to schedule the updated interview with you. I don't know where the other one went, but maybe the people out there that remember that you went through that weight loss surgery, we could do an update down the road if our schedules work. I'd be
Absolutely.
happy to do that with you. And I would say my second answer to that is kind of goes both ways tonight, I guess. We're getting away from the interview, but that's fine. Um, we're just we're just three guys talking, you know.
Yep.
Having Tony meet you, Nathan, was an honor meeting you, and I will never forget the discussion that Nathan and I've had. And before we got kicked out, because during the COVID area, we were standing outside your window, and
I remember that.
yeah, the biggest thing I remember that from that conversation, with all that we talked about in a very short time before we got caught, I guess, standing outside your window, is you have a good voice. I could just tell that you had a direction. If you want to get tissues out right now, you can. But I think with what I've seen you do, since I've told you that you have a good voice and I think you should do something with it, I could just tell that you kind of looked up to me with my success, and you wanted a part of your own success.
Yeah.
So I applaud you, for what you've done, and um everything else. And I really really do wish you luck in all your interviews besides mine going forward.
Well, I appreciate that. And the thing is I give Tony credit all the time,
Yeah,
and he he's really good at saying no, this is you. But without him, there wouldn't be a part of it. But you're a big part of this too, because
yeah,
for those who don't know, I did a radio show before this, before I did the podcast with an actual pro wrestler that was from ECW.
yeah,
And after that, you kind when things don't work out that you really like doing, you kind of get discouraged. You start like second guessing you know whether you could do it or not. So when I got on with you
yeah,
and Tony in what was called at the time the men's room social, which was, I believe, part of that COVID thing that you guys were talking about, and you told me that I had a voice for radio,
yeah,
or that we needed to get me on the radio. That gave me so much of a boost of like confidence that I just kept that and kind of rolled with it, because hearing somebody that's a DJ, right, who music is the majority of what you do, right, and is what your
yeah.
passion is, to tell me that I have a voice that would work well on radio, you
I
know,
think you do.
made me
Yeah,
think that hey, I can do this. And then with your support and Tony's support, we found StreamYard and uh, turned this into things that are already starting to happen bigger than I even imagined happening.
yeah. I know Tony's listening because he's on screen. He's sitting right next to me. But Tony is really supporting me, and I've supported him with you know gigs and you know just just the circle of friends that I've gained throughout the years, and I'm glad to you know um have Tony and yourself being labeled as a friend, and I know our friendships will go a very long way, definitely. So I gotta give props to Tony here.
And this next part's not about me, but you always like to be updated on what's going on, and I don't think I got a chance to update you until
Okay,
now. We are getting huge in the state of Colorado.
okay.
Um, we got together with Tony. Can you help me out with his name, or do you want me to just call him Sizzle?
His name is Jay Sizzle for Rizzle.
And he is in Colorado, and he contacted us because he's a manager of a guy, and he wanted his client to be on the podcast.
Fun.
And because of his schedule, we had to do his interview the same day we did The Rock's Cinnabon's interview. And so it was kind of like on the fly. And so we did that one on the fly, and it worked out so well that he liked everything we did. And he sent us four different people that we have upcoming interviews with,
Wow.
and then got us in touch with different promotions around Colorado.
Cool. Well, congratulations on that, you guys.
Yeah.
And I would definitely wish you all the luck. That's gonna be fun. Can't wait to see.
Although I'm telling you right now, there's one interview with a lady named SOS that might scare you a little bit. So you might want to have your better half with you on that one.
All right, I'll get my mom's permission to see that one, I guess.
So, um, so I know, like I said, I know you like the old fashioned like wrestling. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you talked a little bit about the Undertaker and WrestleMania. Was that like your favorite part of like WrestleMania, or was the Undertaker? Uh,
Um. Yeah, I've watched some bios or like the legendary videos on like how like the Undertaker got produced and got better and better, right? It's all about self image and I have watched The Undertaker over the years, and he just got better and better and better with his presentation because wrestling's a show. A lot of it's real. Yes, they do get hurt, but it's a show, right? Um, for all those hardcore friends out there, sorry to ruin it for you, but um, for what I've seen in wrestling, I like the old stuff, and I wish the old stuff was still around. I like some of the new stuff that I've seen when I get time to watch. Like I told you earlier, I DVR SmackDown, so I could probably watch it. Might be good. Um, yeah, I'm glad to see what like I think is Vince McMahon who kind of like started this whole thing. I'm glad with WWE, I guess I'm still glad to see it go strong. A lot of the events that I've been to have been either sold out, you know, or not. Um, and it's always been really interesting to see both sides of it, like going to an actual event versus seeing it on TV. I like my bathroom 5 feet away. You know, and watching it at home because I don't have some guy standing up with a sign, in front of me, and I miss, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock getting pummeled and he loses, or um, but my I like having my bathroom 5 feet away, and I've seen some good TV shows. I've been able to see some pay-per-views going over to a friend's house back in the day, and they're all like got the snacks, they got the belts out, they're all wearing t-shirts. I don't know where my Rock t-shirt went. It probably, I think my sister stole it, but um yeah, I do watch. I am a fan. I'm not a crazy fan. I don't follow everything, like maybe like the After Dark stuff, but it's to me, I would just say it's almost like creative art. Everyone's got their signature moves. Um, I know it's one big happy family off stage. But when it's showtime, it's all about them and their show, and we're just the audience. I think. You know. Um. Now it kind of switched gears to the second answer is I work for a school district, north of Seattle, and I've got the chance to go to a couple like high school wrestling tournaments. Um, and those are real fun, because they want to be there because it's their future. Um, some of my friends that have done wrestling in high school have done some like MMA fighting, and that's about it. But wrestling, I think it's an art. Either way you look at it, there's certain moves that you gotta do at certain times. There's coaches, there's mentors. Um, it's a fun thing. I think it's a very either some people may call it violent, but I think it's a carefully choreographed sport. If they do get hurt, they get hurt. That's just part of it. Paycheck or not, volunteer, they're there for their future. So anyway, that's the long, I guess I'm about long answers. I am with my headphones. I do like to hear myself talk.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
So on here, sometimes I like to come up with different characters for like wrestling and stuff. Like for mine, I came up
Sometimes,
with
really.
yes. Sometimes I haven't done that in a while. Thank you very much. Um, So for mine, I would call myself like the crippled messiah. You know, do
Oh,
like the
okay.
whole like minister type thing. Actually,
Yeah.
have some like wine glasses that I'm gonna turn into some chalices and stuff in my closet. So I was
Nice.
thinking it'd be interesting if they did like a DJ character. Like I know they've done like DJZ with the lights and stuff, but like
Yeah.
with like the turntable, you know, like one of the portable ones that you could like maybe strap around your neck or whatever, you know,
Oh,
without looking
yeah.
at obviously way too much.
Yeah. Gosh, that would be cool. Like um like DJ spin-off or Brewmaster something. Yeah. That
Yeah,
would be cool. That would be
and the cool part about that one is you can change your interest music like week from week. You know, like the DJ would change this, you know, for the set.
yeah. Um well, I'm gonna change gears and say I got a question for any of you guys.
All right.
Out of all the wrestlers out there, who's your which wrestler has the you think the best entrance?
Ooh,
And I
good.
have a two-part answer for my answer.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead, Tony.
Blabbermouth. You
No,
start.
go
No,
ahead, Tony. I gotta think about this one for a minute.
the host is speechless.
Yeah,
Whoa,
well, I
that
Wow.
have a
never
couple.
that that never happens to
I
make
have
the
a couple
host.
floating around in my head. I have to narrow down which one I'm gonna go with.
You
All
see,
right. Well, what do you think of yours? I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you mine. Uh, Undertaker. Love his entrance. And recently, when I do get a chance to watch, maybe in the past, Ray Wyatt, I think I said he's
Yeah.
got. I like the dark, cool intros. That like he just the music that they play. It's just like something's coming. You know, everyone's got their phones out. It's just dark and it's not creepy, but it's like you get the vibe that something's going to really happen. It's going to be very bad. But then the Undertaker is almost in the same sport, the same spot. It's like, something very bad is going to happen, and it's going to be really cool. So, all right, I'm
Okay.
gonna throw it back to the host here. What you got?
So mine would be John Moxley,
Okay.
his AEW one, mainly because it's that whole atmosphere of him coming from the back of the arena and coming through the crowd and just walking through and looking at everybody like if you make the wrong move, I'm gonna take you out.
Nice.
And then by the time he gets to the ring, being so intimidated that you probably don't even want to do anything. And then the other one was the old Rey Mysterio entrance where they shot him up from the stage, where they had like
Oh,
an
I think I
elevator
remember
and
that.
they shot him up and the fireworks came up from both sides.
Oh, I think I remember that. All right, Tony, you're up, bro.
well, first, I'm gonna say, our guest, very awesome picks. But Nathan, man, I'm very disappointed in your pick. You chose John Moxley coming down through the crowd. We already seen that in WWE, bro.
Well, yes, but at
We
least
are
now,
not. Let me finish. Hang on a second. Yeah, I can get up in a minute. Shut it. But let me, let me get back to that. We already seen it. It's a knockoff of the Shield from WWE. Come on, I thought you were more original than that, man. And yes, normally I don't go so heel personas in our interviews, but you just make it so damn easy sometimes. And I can say damn and damn and damn and damn because we're not on YouTube,
at
so
least
I'm
not
not
yet.
censored.
We will when we get when it posts on here. So keep that in
Shut
mind.
up, Nos.
No,
Now, to my answers. As much as I'd love to steal Nos's answers, no, I won't, because that's not an original answer. I mean, at least he didn't go with, cheesy Hulk Hogan entrance,
No,
Oh,
that was
look at me,
pretty standard.
24-inch biceps and oh, I'm just gonna flex for all the fans. I mean, come on. That's what I really thought that's what I was really expecting from you, but no, my favorite intro is also from my man, The Undertaker. But I like the American Badass with him coming out of the bike.
Yes, yes.
There, go original, Nos. Something that you've never seen before.
Okay, if I'm gonna go original, I would go with Kenny Omega, mainly because he's got that whole spiel with Justin Roberts, where for some reason he makes pretty big emphasis on the fact that he's from North Carolina.
All right. Well, let's ask one more question, Nate, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay.
All right.
Are we staying on after dark show? Man talk.
So,
yep.
What's some of your future goals?
Future goals. Wow. Well, in my DJ world, it's slowed down a little bit. Well, I do have another. I just booked the whatever year that I've been doing this. I've lost track of so many things. I did book the spring 2023 spring games victory dance with Special Olympics Washington. I'm kind of getting excited about that, working out the details. I don't know. I really don't have an answer, but I can tell you guys that I'm cooking something. The Rock is cooking. Well, DJ Shane's cooking something. Probably for next year, but if all those who are listening have been to PLU, it's a nice gym, very, very big. And I'm always on the stage up front. And I'm working on something special, hopefully, maybe next year, probably not this year. But I want to put the stage in the middle of the dance floor. In the middle, kind of like the WWE rings, they're in the middle of the auditorium or whatever, the event space. I want to be surrounded by all my friends. That would be, I think, a big good goal for me, and I'm working on that for next year. So I'm always thinking my next gig is when, because I plan them. I mentioned a few times that I'm getting married. That's a big thing in my life. Lots of changes coming. I don't really get to do. Well, I won't really get to do a lot of stuff that I get to do now, but in exchange for that question, I get to share my life with somebody else. I think that's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be very different because my fiance and I live apart, but when we're together 24/7, look out. There's going to be some great things coming. So that's my goals for the future. So,
all right. With that being said, we want to thank DJ Shane for his time.
Definitely.
Please look for this video on our YouTube station very, very soon. Coming up on Sunday, we'll do a wrap up of WrestleMania weekend. And by the way, again, everybody, it's official. Nathan Noss has lost the bet, and he will be dressed as a woman going to the Mariners game in August. So with that, we bid you adieu. Good night. Bang.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you.
This is From the Chair, where inclusion matters. Peace.